Welcome again, everyone. So glad to have you with us. This is NASCA's Winter Thought Leadership Series. We're into December. Gosh, we really feel like we've been providing lots of opportunities for us to come together, but there's a whole lot more for us to discuss and talk about. I'm Pam Goins, Executive Director at NASCA. I'm joined here in the studio with Kayla, and then across town at our other studio, Jamie, and then in Richmond, we've got Scott and his entire team as well. So thrilled to have everyone here with us again today. Lots of fun things on the agenda. We're going to be hopping over to Virginia, talking with them about their virtual building inspections. They had to make a shift with the pandemic, couldn't do those in person, so I had an opportunity to chat with them and look at their virtual process. Then we're going to break up into small groups this afternoon, really focusing in on data, looking at some time management, timekeeping, the use of overtime in one of our rooms. And then we're going to be looking at diversity numbers and hiring and what the data is showing us there. And then we will come together this afternoon for our virtual travel ban road warrior field trips. We're so excited about this, and we're going to hop all across the country, hear from both our state and corporate members, talking a little bit about some fun things they have in their states, sharing some things that perhaps you haven't seen before, and just give you an opportunity to not only meet those folks a little bit more intimately, but also meet your colleagues on the phone with us. So great day planned. Again, can't wait to get into everything, and so glad to have you with us. But let's kick off today with something that we've done over this series. We talked with a few of our state chief administrators, heard a little bit about them. We're going to hear about their bright spots in 2020. So let's tee that up, guys.
My bright spots this year, I would say professionally, it was our new structure. As a result of our transformation, it allowed for improved communication systems. With 15 departments rather than 200 agencies, we were able to disseminate information efficiently and effectively. And personally, I would say it's the return of the family dinner and the conversations that we had around the table. Secondly, school starting back.
What's the bright spot of 2020? The government administration has been on the front line of putting our states in a favorable position to respond to COVID-19 and enable people to stay safe and healthy and continue government operations.
So what was my bright spot for 2020? A bright spot for 2020 happened out of something that was terrible. Truthfully, the tornadoes came through on March 3rd and came through Middle Tennessee and hit a good part of downtown Nashville. We lost two of our state office buildings. One housed the Department of Human Services, the other housed the Department of Children's Services, and the buildings were gone. And it was interesting because DHS and DCS both had already talked about changing their business model for how they wanted to start delivering their services to their clients. And these two buildings really didn't fit in their business model. So we moved them to other locations. Our stream team jumped in and got them set up in two other of our properties. And so they were able to go ahead and deliver services without any interruption really at all. And the good news is now we get to sell those properties, and these properties are in a very prime location. It's an area of Nashville that is white hot. So while we're losing those two buildings, we're going to put them in a better situation, DHS and DCS, and we're going to get to sell those properties. We'll make a lot of money off of them.
Well, it's so great to hear those bright spots. It feels like 2020 has been a very, very challenging year for most of us. So it's nice to hear from our chief administrators that there are some fun and exciting things on the horizon. We'll be able to finish that up next Tuesday. You'll hear from some more state chief administrators on that recording as well. It's not too late. If you'd like to still join us, reach out to us and we'd be glad to include you in that as well. So before we jump into our next activity, I do want NASCA to be the opportunity for you to network and engage with your colleagues. So take just a second, if you can, and in the chat box, drop your Twitter handle if you have that, as well as your LinkedIn profile. And then you can start connecting and reaching out to your colleagues, learning from each other. NASCA has a social media presence, but we really would like to bolster that make sure that we include each of you on that communication. So again, as we're working through our different activities today, just take a second, drop in your LinkedIn profile as well as your Twitter handle as well. Love to have you and include you in all of our communications. So let's shift over to one of our sponsors. We are so excited to have Guidehouse be one of our event partners this year and working with us. Jeff Bankowski is also co-chair of our corporate council. He sits on our executive committee and has just been a wonderful friend of NASCA for many, many years. So Jeff, I'd love to give you an opportunity to share your thoughts and then let you tee up our first activity for the afternoon.
So Pam, we had Jeff and we lost him just seconds ago.
Well, he ran away from us just before it was time for us to spotlight him. That's fine. We'll give him just a moment or two to pop back in. We will see if he is available. I'm scrolling through our gallery here to see if anyone has had a chance to help him get back in. Okay, what do we see? Jeff, not yet. Okay. No worries. I know Jeff was going to bring some greetings from Guidehouse, share a little bit about their relationship with NASCA and the work that they've been doing with us. So if we don't have him back on, let's just go ahead and move to our state micro review. We've been so excited to work with these 4 states and have the Richmond team on site in Jefferson City and working directly with some of the other states to really showcase some of the innovative programs that they have going on in their state. As we know, everyone had to change the process, pivot quickly, there's that word again, but really look at new opportunities to expand innovation and exemplary programs in the state. So our Richmond team again had a chance to be right there in the state, work with several folks in Virginia around their virtual building inspection program. Again, they knew that they couldn't do that in person and it was critical to shift to a virtual process. So let me ask the Richmond team, are we good to tee up our Virginia micro review?
Hi, this is Scott over at the NASCA Richmond studios. We are in the middle of what is clearly the second wave of this pandemic. And so we have moved to filming outdoors, not just masked, but also in outdoor spaces. So please bear with us as you hear occasional background road noise or planes flying overhead. We're all doing our best to capture best practices in learning while keeping everybody as safe as we possibly can.
My name is Mike Copa. I'm an architect licensed in Virginia. I'm a Virginia native. I've lived my whole life in Virginia. I'm the director of Division of Engineering and Buildings. As the director, it is my responsibility to be the state building official and the capital outlay guy. And so that's basically what I do. The key here is that I'm the state building official, and under the state building official, we have to do inspections. We are responsible for, under the Virginia Construction Code, doing construction inspections. We have got people who do construction inspections for us. We've got special inspectors. We've got agency personnel who do inspections, but we, as the state building official, have to do required code inspections. And when we first started this, we had just switched to electronic document review where we don't have paper documents anymore. And so the only thing that we needed to do then was to come up with a way to do these construction inspections. And we had previously done remote inspections, like in the western part of the state, 6-hour drive away. Photographs, but photographs, you never get what you want. And so we decided that we would try a virtual or live inspection process. And basically what we do is we get somebody with a camera and they go on the site and there's somebody in front of them with a tape measure and ladder and stuff, and we walk through and we look at stuff. We do the inspections. We do a lot of incremental inspections. We do, because it's so much easier to go everywhere now. We just get a call and go, okay, 10 o'clock, be in an inspection, and they do it.
DEB inspections, and that's Division of Engineering and Buildings, we're tasked with issuing building permits for buildings on state-owned property, and this is throughout the state. And after we issue the building permit, we do inspections, and ultimately we issue a certificate of use and occupancy. Our inspections are comprised of an under slab inspection, there's an open wall inspection, an above ceiling inspection, and a substantial completion inspection. The participants in that inspection we can have a group of 25 people at an inspection for a larger project, and so that's a lot of people involved. It really depends on the inspection and the project, but trying to maintain that focus in certain areas. If you have like a small room that you're focusing in on, whereas only a few people might be able to get into that room, that way everyone in the group can be involved. Also, you can hear the comments that the other reviewers are making and follow the conversation and the train of thought. I think so, yes. Again, I have really embraced electronic document reviews, whereas I used to use primarily hard copy reviews if I had the option. And I would always grab that hard copy set instead of going into the electronic file, just because it was something I was used to. And I've really embraced it just because it's faster and it's easier, and it's more convenient for me to review an electronic document submittal.
I am Steve Matsko. I'm the Director of Engineering and Code Compliance at the Division of Engineering and Buildings for the Commonwealth of Virginia. When we first started, we couldn't figure out exactly what to do. We are a diverse Commonwealth. We have Eastern Shore, we have the mountains of Southwest Virginia, and we're the building official for all of that. And the connectivity issues vary greatly. We go to a state park and try to get Wi-Fi service or cell service. Forget it. It's not going to happen. Or you go to downtown Richmond or VCU or one of the agencies downtown. It's excellent. So what we did was we modeled a couple of agencies. James Madison University was instrumental in helping us get this going. We had them try it with Wi-Fi, wouldn't work. Try it with cell phone, wouldn't work, and that's where I was given the example of using a long, 300-foot Cat5 cable with a mini router, carrying it around with us. A gimbal mount is absolutely, if not, they've got to pass out Dramamine at the beginning of the inspection, because it goes up and down, left and right. You got to have good communications between the inspection team and the person actually running the camera. Go slower, go faster, let it focus. Point the camera up at the VAV box. Point the camera over here so I can look at this. So communication. You need someone on the other end. You have a person running the camera, but then you need a person on the other end who is somewhat construction savvy. Measure the distance between that beam and that wall. If they don't know what a beam and a wall is, we're starting over. So we need that person to have some construction savvy. And then they need to have the right tools. A ladder, a tape measure, some meters, a GFCI meter, a good flashlight, and a lot of patience.
I am the Director of Architecture and Professional Services, and the lead reviewers, the architects who work for me, have been wonderful. They've just jumped right in. They have embraced the idea of doing virtual inspections, keeping the projects moving ahead. I mean, there's been challenges in terms of making sure the technology's right and getting other people on board, but they have just done a really good job. They are the ones who are the face of DEB on the inspection. They are the ones who initiate the original, what they're talking about, what the inspection is going to be about. They introduce the other team members. They talk to the contractor and the agency personnel about what the intent of the inspection is, and then they, work with them to conduct the inspection. The system of doing virtual inspections instead of in-person inspections has really been rewarding in that we have been able to keep the projects moving forward. We've been able to keep everyone safe. I mean, that is number one critical thing to do, is to keep all of our team members safe and other people on the site safe.
It's kind of open-ended about working at home. I think I mentioned earlier, I really enjoy working at home. I love being at home with my dogs. I have one by my side just about all day long. That's a lot of fun. And I do miss my coworkers as well. I do like the flexibility there.
We are able to eliminate the travel, which is always a good thing. It allows us to do more inspections. We get to do them more frequently.
So we have found that it's cost efficient, time efficient. It is more responsive. And so I suspect that we're going to probably continue with 90%, if not more, of what we do. There's certain instances where you actually have to go when it's like in the bottom of a basement or something. You can't get Wi-Fi or internet. And there's certain things where actually certain things like that you just can't do remotely. But there's some things that you can do remotely much better. We had an example, and Steve can talk about it, where we had what's called a smoke control test. And so on a smoke control test, there's people in like 10 or 12 places in the building, and they're on the phone, and so they're at a door they're at the main fire control panel. They're at a stairway door. They're at the front door, and it used to be that we're all going, did the door open? Did the door shut? Did the fan come on? And now we get the Brady Bunch up, and the Brady Bunch, and you can watch. You can see the door. You can talk to that guy. You can talk to that guy, and you can see what's going on. And so it actually works better for that.
The 3 tips that I would give to other state agencies, one would be to see if we can't figure the depth perception issue. With looking through a single cell phone lens, or you don't have any depth perception, and sometimes you can't tell if you're 6 feet or 6 miles. Have a party on the other end that has patience and some building construction knowledge. It's very difficult to have somebody to measure the distance between a wide flange and a column if they don't know the difference between a wide flange and a column. And the third thing is that we need to have a good Wi-Fi cellular connection. That's critical. Without that Wi-Fi and cellular connection, this whole process is for naught. We're back to the way we were doing it before all this started, with taking some digital pictures, digital photos, sending them in and looking at them.
Well, thank you so much to the Virginia team and also to our Richmond studios for pulling that together. It was very, very interesting. Great to hear from Mike and his team, Joe and his team there in Virginia. Well, I think we've got Jeff Pankowski back on the line. Jeff, I kind of stole your thunder a little bit about teeing up the micro review, but I think you had some things you wanted to share with our audience today.
Yeah, well, thanks, Pam. That's when you think about kind of internet and broadband, that's the stuff going out. So, wow, amazing work by Virginia. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeff Pankowski, partner at Guidehouse and co-chair of NASCA's corporate council. Guidehouse is honored to sponsor today's program and is a proud sponsor of NASCA, and really the mission to help state chief administrators and their teams transform state government operations through the power of shared knowledge and thought leadership. And you can see that with all of the people on the calls today. Our mission at Guidehouse is to solve big problems, build trust in society, and empower our clients to shape the future. So we look forward to continuing to support all the events today, support NASCA in the states during these challenging times. And again, congrats to Virginia's Department of General Services on amazing work. So back to you, Pam.
Thank you, Jeff, so much. And again, we always appreciate your partnership and everything that you do with and for NASCA. So we've got some fun opportunities this afternoon to not only learn, but also engage with your colleagues around the country. 2 options. Kayla, can we give them some information on how to self-select? So again, if you have the newest version of Zoom, you will have the opportunity to go in and self-select from room A or room B. If not, you can just drop in the chat where you'd like to go, and Kayla will magically put you in one spot or the other. But these opportunities are really to look at the data and to unpack the really the rich and robust information that's available. And then we're going to start to pull out some of the conversation around process. So in room A, we're going to be taking a look around data in diversity hiring, really looking at millions and millions of data points. And we'll be with Shane Evangelist from NeoGov to talk a little bit about purely what the data is telling us, just doing more of a data dump with this group. And then Ace and I will have an opportunity to engage with that group, talk a little bit about what does this data really mean? What does it mean to states? How are states currently looking at their diversity process in hiring, all around human capital, and really what we can do going forward? In the second room, group B, we're going to be looking at the labor complexities in corrections. And although not everyone may have corrections under your purview, I think the process that we are going to learn from UKG and the team there, also with Betsy Thomas from Georgia, is really about the process and how they uncovered and discovered a lot of overtime, and really how the system wasn't currently and actively looking at performance as far as timekeeping, and how they shifted in Georgia to utilize a new system that has become extremely effective for them. So again, we're going to have an opportunity to hear from both Shane and UKG and their team, and then we'll have some conversation in each of these two rooms. So we're going to give you an opportunity now to self-select. And again, if you don't have that capacity on your laptop or your phone, drop a quick note to Kayla, and she's going to put everyone into our breakouts. So let's go to breakout and enjoy your conversations.